Turned 30 last Tuesday. My parents threw me a party. I didn't ask for one, but they insisted. They rented out the back room at a restaurant I'd never been to, invited relatives I barely knew, and told me to dress nice. I showed up on time with a smile like I always did. My mom hugged me at the door. My dad shook my hand. There were about 40 people there, coworkers from my office, a few cousins, my parents' friends, even my old roommate from college. The room smelled like garlic bread and vanilla cake. Everyone was talking, laughing, holding drinks. I felt okay. Maybe this time would be different. Maybe they really did want to celebrate me. Then my dad clinked his glass with a fork. The room went quiet. He stood up, cleared his throat, and said he had something important to share. Something that would finally explain everything. If you've ever felt like the odd one out in your own family, you're not alone. I'd love to hear where you're watching from today. And if this story sounds familiar, go ahead and hit like so I know I'm not the only one. Let's keep going. My dad pulled a folded paper from his jacket pocket. He held it up like a trophy. "We got the results back," he said. His voice was steady, almost proud. My stomach dropped. I didn't know what he was talking about. He unfolded the paper slowly, making sure everyone could see. "DNA test," he said. "We had it done a few months ago. Turns out she's not actually ours." He looked right at me. My mother stood next to him, arms crossed, nodding. The room didn't gasp. It just went still. I felt every pair of eyes lock onto me. My throat tightened. I didn't cry. I didn't yell. I just stood there holding my purse, trying to breathe. Someone coughed. A chair scraped the floor. My dad folded the paper back up and tucked it away. "Just thought everyone should know," he said. Then he sat down. I didn't grow up knowing I was different. I found out slowly, in small cuts over 20 years. I was the one who got grounded for things my brother got warnings for. I was the one who paid my own way through college while he got checks in the mail. When I graduated, they didn't come. When he graduated, they threw him a party and bought him a car. I helped them move twice. I lent them money when their furnace broke. I drove my mom to appointments when her knee was bad. I showed up for every holiday, every birthday, every family dinner. And every time I was treated like I was visiting, like I was a guest who'd overstayed. They smiled at me in private and forgot me in public. I thought if I just kept helping, kept showing up, it would change. It didn't. After my dad sat down, people started whispering. I heard fragments, always wondered. That explains it. Poor thing. No one came to me. No one asked if I was okay. I looked at my brother. He was staring at his phone. I looked at my mom. She was cutting the cake. I walked to the bathroom and locked the door. I sat on the closed toilet lid and opened my phone. I had known something was coming. Not this exactly, but something. 3 months ago, my mom had asked me for a cheek swab. She said it was for a health screening. I didn't think much of it. But 2 weeks later, I got a call from the lab. They said my sample had been requested under a different name. They asked if I wanted a copy of my own results. I said yes. I never opened that envelope. I kept it in my desk drawer at home, underneath old tax papers and a broken watch. I didn't want to know. I didn't want to give them the power to rewrite my life, but I also didn't throw it away. Some part of me knew I might need it. I stayed in the bathroom for 10 minutes. When I came out, the party was still going. People were eating cake. My dad was laughing with his buddy from work. My mom was pouring wine. I walked past all of them, grabbed my coat from the rack, and headed for the door. My brother caught my arm. "You're leaving?" he asked. I pulled away gently. "Yeah," I said. "I'm tired." He didn't argue. I left. I went home and sat on my couch in the dark. I didn't turn on the TV. I didn't call anyone. I just sat there replaying the whole thing in my head. The paper, the announcement, the silence, the way no one defended me, the way my own mother looked at me like I was a problem that had finally been solved. I thought about all the years I spent trying to earn a place I apparently never had. All the times I swallowed my frustration because I thought it was my fault. I wasn't angry yet. I was numb. But underneath the numbness, something else was growing. Clarity. I pulled the envelope out of my drawer. I turned on the lamp. I opened it. The results were clear. The test confirmed I was biologically related to my mother, not my father, but my mother. I read it 3 times to make sure. The lab had included a breakdown. Maternal match, positive. Paternal match, inconclusive, sample not provided. There was a note at the bottom. It said that without a paternal sample, no conclusion could be drawn about the father. But the maternal link was certain. I sat back. My hands were shaking now. They had lied, not just to me, to everyone. My dad had stood up in front of 40 people and told them I wasn't theirs, but the truth was I was hers. And he knew it, or he didn't care. Either way, the story he told was incomplete. He'd used science to justify cruelty, and no one had questioned him. I didn't sleep that night. I made coffee at 5 in the morning and sat at my kitchen table with the report in front of me. I thought about what to do. I could call them. I could send the report. I could post it online. But none of that felt right. I didn't want to fight. I didn't want revenge. I just wanted the truth to matter. I wanted the people who had witnessed my humiliation to know they'd been lied to, not because I needed an apology, but because I needed them to stop looking at me like I deserved it. I decided to wait. I didn't know what I was waiting for, but I trusted that the right moment would come. Came 4 days later, my mom called me. She said they were having a family meeting at the house on Sunday. She said I should come. Her voice was flat, like she was reading from a script. I asked what it was about. She said, "Just come." I said, "Okay." I hung up. I made a copy of my report. I put the original back in my drawer and folded the copy into my purse. I didn't plan a speech. I didn't rehearse anything. I just decided I would bring it, and if the moment felt right, I'd show it. If not, I'd leave. I wasn't going to beg. I wasn't going to explain myself. I was just going to exist and let the facts do the rest. Sunday came. I drove to their house. My brother's car was already in the driveway. So was my Aunt Linda's. I didn't expect her. She was my mom's older sister, a retired nurse, and the only person in the family who ever asked me real questions. She didn't play favorites. She didn't gossip. People listened to her. I walked in. Everyone was sitting in the living room. My dad in his chair, my mom on the couch, my brother on the arm of the couch, Aunt Linda in the corner with her hands folded. I sat in the chair by the door. No one said hi. My dad started talking. He said they wanted to clear the air. He said the DNA test had been hard for everyone. He said they hoped we could move forward as a family, but with honesty. I didn't say anything. I waited. My mom said she thought it was best if I understood why things had been the way they were. She said it wasn't personal. She said they'd always felt something was off, and now they had proof. My brother looked uncomfortable but didn't speak. Aunt Linda was watching me. I met her eyes. She gave me a small nod. I didn't know what it meant, but it steadied me. My dad said, "We're not trying to hurt you. We just think everyone deserves to know the truth." I opened my purse. I pulled out the folded paper. I set it on the coffee table between us. "You're right," I said. "They do." My mom frowned. "What's that?" she asked. "The actual results," I said. "From the same lab, the one you had me swab for." My dad's face changed. He reached for the paper, but Aunt Linda got to it first. She unfolded it slowly. She read it in silence. The room was so quiet I could hear the clock ticking in the kitchen. Aunt Linda looked up. She looked at my mom, then at my dad. "This says she's a maternal match," Aunt Linda said. Her voice was calm but sharp. "You told people she wasn't yours. But according to this, she's definitely hers." She nodded toward my mother. My mom's mouth opened. Nothing came out. My dad stood up. "That's not," Aunt Linda cut him off. "I'm a nurse. I know how to read these. You lied." The room stayed frozen. My brother looked at the paper, then at our parents. "Wait," he said. "So she is Mom's kid?" Aunt Linda nodded. "Yes, the test you showed at the party didn't include a paternal sample. You made it sound like she wasn't related to either of you, but she is. You just didn't want to admit it." My mom's face went red. "We didn't lie," she said. You stood in front of everyone and humiliated her," Aunt Linda said. "You used science you didn't understand to justify years of treating her like she didn't belong. And now you want to move forward?" She folded the paper and handed it back to me. I took it. My hands were steady now. My dad sat back down. He didn't look at me. I stood up. I put the paper back in my purse. "I'm not here to argue," I said. "I'm not here to make you apologize or explain yourselves. I just wanted you to know that I know. And now Aunt Linda knows. And if you ever try to tell that story again, I'll make sure everyone else knows too." My voice didn't shake. I wasn't angry. I wasn't sad. I was just done. My mom started to say something, but I turned and walked to the door. Aunt Linda followed me. Outside, she hugged me. "You did good," she whispered. I nodded. I got in my car and drove home. I didn't look back. The next few weeks were quiet. My parents didn't call. My brother sent one text asking if I was okay. I said yes. He didn't reply. I didn't reach out either. I went to work. I saw friends. I went to the gym. I started sleeping better. I didn't realize how much energy I'd been spending trying to fit into a space that was never going to open for me. Now that I'd stopped trying, I had room to breathe. Aunt Linda checked in once a week. She didn't ask about them. She just asked about me. It felt new. It felt good. I started to understand that family wasn't about blood or names or who raised you. It was about who saw you and who stayed. Month later, I got a voicemail from my mom. She said they'd talked. She said maybe things had been handled poorly. She said they wanted to try again. She didn't say sorry. She didn't say she was wrong. She just said, try again, like I was a recipe that hadn't turned out right the first time. I didn't call back. A week after that, my dad sent an email. It was 3 sentences. He said he'd been under stress. He said the test had confused him. He said he hoped I was doing well. I deleted it. I didn't block them. I didn't make a scene. I just stopped responding. I stopped showing up. I stopped lending money. I stopped being available. And it felt like freedom. People ask me sometimes if I miss them. I said no, and I meant it. I didn't miss the version of them I'd wanted them to be, and I didn't miss the version of me I'd had to be around them. I missed the idea of having parents, but I didn't miss them. There's a difference. Aunt Linda invited me to Thanksgiving at her place. It was small. Just her husband, 2 of her kids, and me. We ate too much. We played cards. No one asked me why I wasn't with my parents. No one made me explain. I felt light. I felt seen. I felt like I was exactly where I was supposed to be. I didn't hear from my parents again until Christmas. My mom sent a card. It had a generic message inside and a photo of her, my dad, and my brother in front of their tree. I wasn't in it. I wasn't surprised. I put the card in a drawer and forgot about it. I spent Christmas with friends. We watched movies and ate takeout and stayed up too late. It was perfect. I didn't feel like I was missing anything. I felt like I'd finally stopped chasing something that was never real. And that was the gift. Not revenge, not an apology, just clarity, just peace. I still see Aunt Linda regularly. She's become the family I choose. We meet for coffee. We text about nothing. She remembers my birthday. She asks how I'm doing and actually listens. I've started to build a life that doesn't revolve around proving I'm worth keeping. I go to therapy now, not because I'm broken, but because I want to understand how I let it go on so long. My therapist says I was loyal. I say I was scared. She says both can be true. I'm learning to let people go without hating them. I'm learning that boundaries aren't punishments. They're just honesty. And honesty, it turns out, is the kindest thing I've ever given myself. I don't know what my parents tell people now. I don't know if they ever corrected the story. I don't ask. It doesn't matter anymore. I'm not the one who has to live with the lie. They are. I've moved on. I have my own apartment, my own routine, my own people. I don't wait for calls that won't come. I don't hope for apologies that don't exist. I just live. And some days that's enough. Some days it's everything. I'm not angry. I'm not bitter. I'm just free. And that's the ending I needed. Not the one they gave me, the one I gave myself. Thanks for staying with me through this whole story. If it resonated with you, I'd really appreciate a like and subscribe. It helps more than you know. I want to ask you something. Have you ever had to walk away from people you thought you'd always keep? How did you know it was time? Drop your thoughts in the comments. I read everyone. And if you want another story like this, I've got plenty more. Take care of yourself. You deserve it.